This is part of the first two parts of a story called Madrid. Gotta take my glasses off. Before things were so simple then. Where is the poem about my shoes? I yearn for the good old days when we were nostalgic for the golden age of yesterday. She definitely said Noah's Arch. She had a PowerPoint slide to prove it. According to Microsoft, PowerPoint should never be used as a noun or a verb. I envy the missing hyphen. I'm training myself to say, praise Jesus, when I hit my thumb with a hammer instead of shit piss. In the airport, the man beside me argues into the phone. Before my daughter got on my line, for her birthday greeting, I could hear chill in my wife's voice. Her tone said what her words didn't. What the hell are you doing on the other side of the world discussing poetics at a conference? Aside from her birthday celebrations, my daughter has an appointment for a Helicobacter pylori breath test scheduled. My wife's tone says, how did we fuck it up so a 6-year-old is tested for ulcers? I will buy a chocolate rabbit and a chocolate duck. I will buy a fork. I will buy a bowl of cereal. I will buy a head of lettuce. I will buy green socks. I will buy whiskey. I will buy a submarine. I will buy nails. I will buy a honeybee. I will buy a computer network. I will buy an orange. I will buy an orphan. Part 2. During now, this. This hesitancy of sentences, a provisional unfinishing. The hotel room smelled like day-old diazinon, and there were no English language channels. When my roommate mocked me about my pornography collection, I thought, what the hell is he doing in my room? But I didn't say anything. The gap is not just the space between two words or two teeth or the train and the platform, but lived experience. Keep putting it out there and to hell with Ezra Pound, the fascist bastard. When my roommate and his girlfriend came home unexpectedly, I looked up from where I was reading Pope's essay on criticism on the couch. I'm stark naked, I said. The bath was running down the hall. Where do I know those thyroid eyes? I never dreamed I would get married, let alone have children. The first time I had a back spasm that required medical treatment, my roommate and I were playing road hockey against the boys from the Catholic orphanage next door. They were winning 14-2. Of course, this is how the Augustines seized upon the idea of the heroic couplet. One across. Without Freud's inner urge, he is stupidly stupid, or he savors madeleines. Sitting in the departure lounge, pen poised over the upper left corner of the Times crossword, I can smell nothing of French bacon. Only air conditioning, burnt coffee, the aftershave of the man slumped next to me. Ronald Reagan's funeral is feeding live on the CNN airport channel. The funeral has been a presence in 2 airports on 2 continents. Not for the first time, not even for the first time that day, I contemplate my father, now dead 25 years. I will buy a rubber duck. I will buy a vacuum cleaner. I will buy butter. I will buy Eva Braun's underwear. I will buy a chocolate cake and a tractor. I will buy a Valentine. I will buy a bindle of heroin, a jigsaw puzzle, and a screwdriver. I will buy a Barbie doll and a python. I will buy a concentration camp. I will buy cherries, real estate, and a bathing suit. I will buy a knife, toilet paper, and a brindled hog. I will buy a glass of milk, a camel, and an airplane. I will buy 2 yellow rubber gloves. I will buy a handgun. What kind of cosmic joke is that, my wife said. Female pinworms have a vagina. My daughter drank a dose of vermicide. She asked if I thought that a spider web is a miracle. Male pinworms have a single testicle and an ejaculatory duct. No miracle, no, I responded. It's just the way nature orders herself. I used the feminine pronoun. I have been accused of being a misogynist. But think of it, she said. The egg hatches, a silk parachute carries the spider away. It just knows how to spin a web. Nobody teaches it. She doesn't like to be called my wife. The female pinworm crawls out of your anus and explodes 10,000 eggs all over your ass. You can't fight City Hall. My father used the same aftershave as the man beside me. On a Saturday night in 1968, politics preempted Hockey Night in Canada. Pierre Trudeau had just won the leadership of the Liberal Party to become the Prime Minister of Canada. Aqua Velva eclipsed by gin and cigarettes. My father's hug more like a capture than affection. It was the first time I heard my father use the word fuck. I will buy a book, a bucket, and a hamburger. I will buy a sweatshop. I will buy a statue of Buddha. I will buy a yellow shirt and a red telephone. I will buy an ascent of Mount Kilimanjaro. I will buy a hammer and razor wire. I will buy lard, Zoloft, and a kettle. I will buy a confidential database. I will buy snakes. I will buy ladders. I will buy a saw, a radio, and a hydroelectric dam. I will buy dynamite. Make a concrete poem. If you want to fly, make it in the shape of a fly. If you want to walk, make it in the shape of a shoe. If you want to fuck, make it in the shape of rabbits. If you want to speak, make it in the shape of a word. Pen still poised over the upper left corner, I am aware of my slouch, the posture of one who is used to waiting, one leg over the other, as my father used to do, newspaper folded in a neat rectangle. I am aware of the narrative in my stillness. The six-pointed glacier icon on my pen, held a hair's breadth over the page, connects me to an affluent literacy. My oblong samsonite tucked out of harm's way suggests competency. I enact white masculine prerogative by sitting in an airport. I will buy a monkey. I will buy toast and seeds. I will buy a meal replacement program. I will buy a steam boiler, a wheelchair, and a Cape Dorset soapstone carving. I will buy a giraffe and a bowl of pancake batter. I will buy a high-definition TV, a wrench, and a teacup. I will buy dirt. Concrete shows between reconstruction. All the world limps, our usual suspects bloodied, the blonde food, a hot air, the hyper and awe of concern, Starbucks I am with chicken for 8. News uses logos, t-shirts, bathrobes for content. Shit that money through the shock. Sir, are you going off with any in the bus? The boy's balloon hangs over Jeremy Bentham's auto icon, making that money, the cafeteria people, button down brutalism. I am not completely still. My left leg moves ever so slightly in time to my heartbeat. My right eyelid suffers a blepharospasm. Today is my daughter's 6th birthday. The blepharospasm began in the colicky nights of her first year and never disappeared. I sang happy birthday to her today on a payphone 5,000 kilometers away. My daughter's name could have been Madeline. She has been waking up nights with stomach cramps. She crawls into bed with us and moans and guards her abdomen. We keep a pot by the bed. When she throws up, I examine the vomitus. I will buy a Geiger counter, a starfish, and dish soap. I will buy sushi. I will buy a spotted horse and an apple. I will buy an automobile. I will buy a bag with a picture of bread on it. I will buy a chicken and a bidet. I will buy a straw hat and a cow. I will buy gold. I will buy cheese on a piece of wood. I will buy a bathtub, a refrigerator, and a zebra. I will buy a kilt and a couch. I will buy a newspaper and a swallowtail butterfly. I will buy shoes. I will buy striped pants. I will buy 4 green beans and a robot. I will buy 5 sardines and a sponge. I will buy a kidney. I will buy a penguin and an atomic clock. A week ago, my daughter fell out of a tree. A branch snapped. She landed on a small incline below the birch on her back, her head down the slope. Leaves tangled in her hair. I knelt beside her. She looked at me with eyes that belonged to someone else. Her lips turned greenish, then blue. Her foot twitched.